Peace, everyone. I am Joy Allen of Karmic Dynasty, and I am here today with my guest, Khepra Ptah Djehuti Amn, and he will be speaking on solarization of the spirit. So he will be here. I'm going to bring him in shortly. First, though, I need to share with everyone, and peace again to you all. I need to share with you all some information on my upcoming tour lecture. So first, we have the community event dates. We have Washington, D.C., August 21st. At this event, it is called Books, Bikes, Bags, etc. And we will be in Washington, D.C., Saturday, August 21st. And if you like tickets, I have 5 left. If you like information, contact me at mkdtnt@gmail.com. We will be, this is for literacy awareness. We will be donating books to the children of the Washington, D.C. area. We will also be biking along the path of a famous writer with notable landmarks and discussion along the way, as you read in the ticker. This ticker needs to be updated. I have 5 tickets left for this event. We will have vendors, so there will be shopping available afterwards, and bike rental is available the day of the event. It will be $8 for that. Now, next I have Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I will be there with Ramutef Webb, September 4th. We launched yesterday the event, which is the Neteru Tuatep Astrology Conference 2021. And that will be 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you need info on that, let me know. You need tickets, here's all the information. And we spoke on that event, so check out the broadcast from yesterday. And as in yesterday, when the video ended, let me take this logo off of my brother's head. Excuse me, Ramutef Webb. All right. So yes, we will be there. And also on my tour, I have Columbus, Ohio, September 18th. That tour I will be is a homeschool evolution. So we are meeting, those who want to come, we are meeting at the table, and we are creating a curriculum to present to our community. And we are also presenting in that finished product, a guide to homeschool and how to ease into the transition from private public school to homeschool. And also awareness is the key for this event. And then I've been asked to come to Detroit again, so I will be there October 16th. We will be participating in interactive magic, interactive crafts. And that event will be outside under the stars. It's going to be beautiful. So you need information, you want to know more, contact me at mkdtnt@gmail.com. And here is more of my information and where you can reach me at. Now, in the comment section, I'm going to share a few who's here with us. We have my sister Sharpe. She speaks love and light, beloved. Love and light to you from Facebook. Love and light to you. Siba Ramutef Webb, peace and love to all. He speaks peace and love to you, Siba. And Kai Creatress on her K Croft Us 99 account on YouTube speaks peace again. Peace. This is my 3rd broadcast today. So yes, peace again, Kai Creatress. I appreciate you all being here again. And at this time, I'm going to bring my guest on. And again, he's going to be speaking on solarization of the spirit. And I'm going to have him introduce himself to you all and tell you where you can find him. And at this time, I'm bringing on Khepra Ptah. Greetings, dua, dua, hete pu. How are you, Siba?
I'm well, Queen Mother. And I like to come and call upon cosmic forces with all due permission.
Yes.
Hatepu, hatepu, hatepu. Duau, duau, duau. Anet Rak Ramech, Imhotep. Greetings in divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families of the New Age order. My Nagas, my Shimzu Harus, my Nesud Biddies, my Hemets, Sabats and Sabats, Mutneterds, the immortal ones of Ma'at, cherished, phenomenon procession, New Age order, great golden age of Ma'at, happy Asar. And all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley, cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality, all ast, mutpaut, and Nebu, the mother of the Netaru, the mistress of Pet, the maker of mankind, she who is mighty in User Meduneter, a cow, divine words of power, mother of all initiations, bless us humble servants for Unk, life being now present. For we seek the counsel of the ancient ones, and we practice daily the ancient Matian ways and the ancient Matian truths. We strive evermore to become one with you in this world, in existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this 320th Haru of the year after the heliacal rising. 32 Haru days remaining until Uben Septet. Septet rising. Watsamai Tawi, Wep Rin Pet Pet. Jahed Heb Neter. First Haru of Aset. Fourth Haru. 10th month of Ptah. Third month of Shamu. Rin Pet, year 10. After the founding of the new Kemet Naga, Smai Tawi, phenomenon, possession, New Age order, Ma'at Happy Asar, we ask that you bless our families and friends and all those of us who are gathered together in your most sacred, holy, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of RA-NB-UR-TCHR-RA. For in the art of seeking you, we are gathered together in your most sacred and glorious ancient Tamarian name, so that all is spoken may it be spoken, so that it be written, so that it be done. Hatapu.
Dua, dua, share with us who you are, what part you like to share, where we can find you, and what we look forward to in this broadcast today.
Yes. Okay, no doubts about it. So I can be found on Facebook at Khepra Ptah. That's Khepra Ptah. I also have a YouTube page bearing the same name. For those who are interested in inquiring more, my email address is khepra.ptah@gmail.com. And for even further inquiries, you can speak with me personally. My number is 206-960-7999. I also do readings and I help people discover and connect with the guides that are around them and over them and who have been assigned to them in this particular time in life on this planet. All right, I'm going to do a
Dua,
mic check
dua,
real
see,
quick. Can
but
you
it's
hear me?
not you, it's me. It was me. Cut that
Oh,
out.
okay. Oh, no problem.
All right, all right. So you're going to be speaking to us today on solarization of the spirit. If you could, yes, you can. My apologies. At this time, would you share with us what solarization of the spirit is?
Yes. Two. Solarization is like being like the sun, allowing your energies to flow freely. Each and every one of us being solar beings, we have the power and access to the resources to elevate our consciousness, our health, and everything else. So solarization is inner illumination and transformation. By changing our thought process and how we observe reality, we actually reprogram and change the structure of our very DNA. Today, I would like to get more into the psychological aspects, but I will get into a little bit of the juicy metaphysics behind it as well. So, this is where hekau or mantras or words of power come into play because it helps to shape our thought patterns. And this being the case, it should not be so far out to assume that sound shapes our reality as well. So, yes, sound shapes reality. Sound holds everything together, but it is also believed that the sun itself emanates a certain type of sound. And many have identified this sound as Om or Amun or Ung. And we'll get into more details with that as time goes on. And this is the first of a series. Eventually, we're going to get into the sacred breath, how to communicate with water, and how to connect with plant consciousness. But today, we're mainly going to focus on how to connect with the psychology of the universe and the universal mind and so forth. So, by the way, I saw a brother say, "Buru buya sakbato sorry fun." I'm also in our Wi-Fi. So yes, there are certain sounds in which can be uttered by an individual that can generate heat inside of the body and also aid the process of digestion. Sounds, tones, frequencies, etc. can affect our overall health. And solarization is a remedy to the condition of isolation. So when one is in pure radiance or solarized to the highest degree, one becomes so much like the sun that if anything impure gets too close to that person, it will burn up. So more and more research than ever have been directed towards the study of resonant fields and the power of observation of one's surroundings. By thinking of productive things and tapping into our creativity, we raise our vibration. A higher vibration heals your mind, your body, as well as increase your personal magnetism, meaning you can attract the things, the people, and the conditions you want to have in your life. And this is evidence of our collective consciousness to the universal mind. To be in touch with and tap into this universal mind consciously is to be in the mode of light and expansion, which our Yoruba sisters and brothers refer to as RA, being on your path and destiny. So this is the mode of light that we all want to have access to. We all want to be in that particular light. We
Uh-huh.
access this universal mind. See, when you are have the least internal resistance, a lot of times we're out of touch because of all the anxiety that society has put on us. You understand? The things
Yes.
that we have come into contact with in life, traumatic experience, and so forth. So we access this universal mind by going through that subjective part of our mind, labeled by Sigmund Freud as the subconscious mind, in which he acknowledged into the year 1893. But the ancients recognized the subjective aspects of the self and often identified this as the underworld, and we've known about this subjective part of yourself for thousands and thousands of years because it was how we would go into trance states so that we can manifest the things that we wanted in our lives.
Uh-huh.
The ancients, see? So we have this ability to tap into the very consciousness that pervades all in the expressions of what we call creation. And with the guidance of the soul, each of us embody this power. So we also become co-creators. And we're
Uh-huh.
also part of nature, or what the Commissions called netter. If we can communicate with nature, and nature can also communicate with us.
Right.
Therefore, it is our place to not only be of the universe, but to participate in creating within the creation. So we're all aspects of the original man, woman, original mind, which is actually the universal mind. And for those that are familiar with the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it speaks on how Allah came into being from triple darkness. Well, if you go back into Kemet, the ancestor said the same thing about Ra coming from the darkness of the darkest night. The concept
Correct.
of Ra coming into being from the Nun, aka the dark, watery abyss. See,
Uh-huh.
so everything around us is shaped by consciousness, and it is governed by some aspect of universal mind, whose thoughts manifest and permeate creations. So we're actually fractals of a universal mind ourselves. So if you accept what they consider to be the holographic model, Queen, you come to the idea that each part of a hologram contains the whole. So within us is a model of many universes. You see, we're also creating as we speak, and the things we participate in enhance our ability to be present and also bring forth more things as far as creation is concerned. So the constant renewal and expansion of our individual minds, we break the barriers of limitation and bring about manifestation, tapping into the universal mind. Remember, heat is generated by movement. Heat is
Uh-huh.
also caused expansion, where we talked
Right.
about E-ray earlier. We're considered mammals according to biology because we're warm-blooded. But when we're alive and healthy, our bodies emit warmth. But when our spirit leaves these bodies behind, well, the body grows cold. and begins to break down and return back to the elements from which it was composed of.
Right.
So, you got me so far, sister. Do you have any questions or anything like that?
We got you so far. You know, we
Okay.
know this is not your first appearance here.
All right. No problem.
And
No problem.
I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to speak about and the sounds that you mentioned you were going to share. Because last time you mentioned you spoke on sounds, and I learned
Yes.
so much. I've shared that with my audience from time to time. It was powerful.
Okay. We're gonna get into that because I got a lot, you know. So we're gonna do a
I know you
series.
do. Take your time.
Uh-huh.
You we'll
Right.
be here till you get ready to say stop. Go ahead, take your
All
time.
right. All right. No problem. So now on the spiritual level, when you're in a place of expansion, you emit this spiritual quality of light. So for us to truly expand and ascend, we have to change the expectations of ourselves as well as those around us. So a major
Mm-hmm.
part of the reason why things don't get better is simply because we do not expect them to. We're out of touch with the spirit of Heteru according to the Kemetic tradition, and
Wow.
therefore we're not tapping into that imagination that allows us to participate in creation. We want to keep in mind that the same time expectations do kill relations, so there has to be a balance. Basically,
Okay.
the idea of expectations had to be put into proper context. So we got to go back in time a little bit and talk about how these expectations came to be and how we began to, should I say, become desolarized and in fact internally polarized. So a lot of times our negative thoughts about ourselves, they may come from authority figures like parents, teachers, and so forth, who may have constantly criticized us as we were growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and they would often scold us for not knowing, right? So I'm
Right.
not saying that we want to beat up on our parents and not forgive them because they were working with the best they could, what they
That's
knew
right.
how to do based on what was
Yes.
passed down to them, you see.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, they may never have walked us through the things in which they were telling us to do because they came from a fight or flight situation, you see, especially if you have a legacy of your ancestors going through various forms of oppression, colonialism, slavery, and so forth. So, so now what it is that people are scared to do anything because they don't want to make a mistake. So now
Okay.
we find ourselves getting all nervous when it comes down to basic things because these authority figures hopped all over us when they may have made a
Yeah.
simple mistake, right?
That is actually a habit. That's a characteristic I have. And
Hmm.
I can't stand making a mistake. I will ask questions and I need the entire map and instructions before I get started. I hate making mistakes. And
Right,
one thing
right.
that helped me, I read it was a Indian, a native, they're weave makers and they used to
Hmm.
weave. And to realize the importance of not stressing over making an error, they would purposely do do a wrong stitch.
Hmm.
So there would be, so they could embrace not being perfect. So when I attempt to be perfect all the time, and in certain manners, because sometimes I don't care, but sometimes I'm really embraced and I get this fearfulness. And I'm gonna tell you where I say primarily most of mine came from was my father. And
Hmm.
with me being the firstborn, I was expected to do, especially when my siblings came along, I was expected to do a lot. And those who
Mm.
are firstborn and have siblings, y'all know what I'm talking about. And so, yes, I can relate to that. And right now, Ramatif, 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 go drink some water.
His brother Ramutap.
He is
Ramutap,
starting
my
to,
brother.
yes, my brother, he need to go drink some water. Right quick. I also want to take a moment to not to mean to interrupt you, but to address my sister Tiffany Simpson is here from Facebook. She has been speaking and being peaceful uh, as well as everyone, and she has been commenting, and she is so grateful. And she was shaking, and she's sorry for keep making comments. This is everything. Don't be sorry. You want to be in a place where you can comment. This is that place. We are excited. We embrace your voice. So continue to comment, continue to share. how you feel, and we are here to embrace that, and we welcome you to the Karmic Dynasty. Tiffany Simpson, welcome. We appreciate you being here. And Khepra, if you would continue, please. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sister, and thank you for also clearing up the fact that this is definitely not a time of judgment. You know, for those who would like to make comments and ask questions, you will not be judged. Okay, and that's the thing, because a lot of us are self-conscious because of that. You know, and to piggyback off what you said, Sabet, is the fact that in classical art, often they would literally leave something imperfect as a signature for the
Mm-hmm.
uniqueness of their art, you see. So, you know, there's beauty in what is considered to be imperfection because it
Right.
allows uniqueness and individuality, you see. We're not here
Mm-hmm.
to start off perfect. Nobody starts off at the finish line, you see. Now, perfection, reaching for perfection is a beautiful thing. You see, because we become more and more attuned, and we should, I say, sharpen our skills as being human beings and get better and better and better at what we do. But mastery is not a goal. Mastery is a dedication to a process. You see, so remember, a lot of times we get a lot of things going on when we're at the age of 7. This is when a
Mm-hmm.
child is not at the place of discernment of what is real and what is not real. That
Mm-hmm.
child will be molded by their environment and a chain of events taking place around them in the early part of their lives. See, so a child is very impressionable at that age. They may be
Yes.
experienced seeing parents argue and fight, and this may become a traumatic memory that gets buried in the subconscious of the child, still affecting her or him when they become an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we need to get to the root cause. Now, why do we chant? What is it that we do when we're chanting? You know, I'm going to just start off with these. Om, Ong, Amin. They're pretty much the same sound. But why do we chant them? What is it that they do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, when you're chanting Om, what you're doing is you're regulating the heartbeat, you're helping the nerves, and you're also balancing the brain hemispheres, as well as purifying the atmosphere around you. If you do it long enough, people will feel it in your auric field. You see, a lot of times people say, "Oh, well, we chant Om for enlightenment," but it does other things as well. And Amun and Ung, or Unk, Ung. So basically, you are calling upon the vibration of life. But the ancients identified these sounds with the sun itself. So by chanting these particular hekas or these particular mantras, you're connecting with the solar energy and you're becoming solarized because your auric field is expanding. A lot of times we do things in life that creates holes in our aura, and people can feel these holes. And sometimes when other people have holes in their aura, when they get close to you, they can actually drain and suck the energy out of your energy field. You see what I mean? The people call this psychic vampirism. Now, not everybody is aware of what they're doing, but it doesn't give anybody the right to take your energy, whether they're aware of it or not. However, when you chant Om and Amin and Ong, this is one
Mm-hmm.
of the ways in which you seal that these holes in your aura up. You see, so when we get more into it, we begin to elevate and change and transform this dimension. You see what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
this is correct. Yes, Freeman L. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Om is the vibration of the earth. It also connects us with that Schumann resonance, which we'll talk about at some point. So when parents expect their children to do great things, right? We're going to go back to the parents and the children and why it is. How did we get like this to begin with? How is it that we get to the point that our energy fields condenses as opposed to expand, right? A lot of it is guilt and shame. So when parents
Yes.
expect their children to do great things, they find that their children will actually do great things. Why? Because they simply expect them to do great. Okay? But a lot of
Yes.
times, oh, you should know better than that, and wooty woo, and get on them and stuff like that all the time, and then say, well, hey, you're gonna mess up, you're gonna do this and that and the other, and therefore we don't trust you. That causes the child to have doubts in their mind. So the parents have to tell the children that they believe in them. It starts from an early age. You see, Tutankhamun was a child when he ascended the throne. So we got to tap into that child within us, because a lot of times we have gone through traumatic experiences. The child within you is stuck in a certain time. You see what I
Yes.
mean? So
Mm-hmm.
you may trigger that child when you may come across an order or scent or situation, and you'll literally revert back to being that child in that moment, which explains the
Mm-hmm.
triggers and the emotional outbursts that adults have all the way up to their 30s,
Yes.
40s, and even 50s. Okay?
Yes. Till the
So it
day
is
they leave here from this
exactly,
avatar. Yes.
exactly,
And
exactly.
I teach my children and my grandchildren about that age where until they're age 7, that's the time of programming.
Yes,
And
it is.
when you get about age 7, that's who you have received the years before that your programming for the rest of your life.
That
If
is correct.
not strong enough and aware of what the programming is and to make adjustments for yourself and to be a fuller self, you will be 7 years old for your entire life.
Teach.
So it's a bunch of us in these bodies of this adult bodies, a bunch of 7-year-olds running around.
That's exactly
So,
what's happening.
yes, and for example, I told my daughter, so she watched her younger siblings come up, and I said, your brother, he's who he was when he was 7.
Mm-hmm.
He's mild mannered. He don't speak too much to people. He stays to himself. He's creative. He's that 7-year-old. And then, for example, with him on his path to become a man, there are things that he's going to have to realize that he needs to shake off, that he don't need to keep on a hold to, that 7-year-olds do.
That's correct.
It's a self journey, and it's a process. And the things that we pick up until we are 7 comes from our environment, which includes our relatives, our teachers, and all of that stuff. And as you're saying, sometimes things are, we absorb things, we observe things without realizing it because we're in that programming period, and we need to shed some of that. Like how reptiles
Exactly.
and snakes shed their skin. There are processes and
Exactly.
there are times and phases called milestones in life where you need to examine yourself and shed that skin, shed that programming that no longer fits you. Because if
Right.
you're in the adult body, you should not be a 7-year-old running around.
That is correct. That's correct. And that's what's been happening with a lot of people these days. They have not reached that emotional maturity because they're still identifying with subconsciously what we call that isolated child within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why it's important. And this is why it's important to go back in time when we do the meditation and when you're doing certain vibrations, because you can use that to access these memories.
Mm-hmm.
You see. So one of the things too is even the same thing said about adults in the situations when adults in society have come across things that trigger them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
one thing is like you can use a certain type of a perfume. Like let's say if somebody had run across or cologne. Let's say if somebody was trying to, tap into their lover's connection with the heart and find out that her first love wore a certain type of cologne. He could put a dab on that without and very little bit of it and create attraction towards himself from that.
Yes.
He will pick
Mm-hmm.
up on it subconsciously, you see. So when our parents expect their children to do great things, they'll find that their children actually do great things simply because they believe and expect them to. A lot of times when we don't expect our children to do great, well, they won't do great, you see. And
Mm-hmm.
there's an energy behind that. The same thing can be said about adults in a situation in society where we're exposed to television, news media, propaganda that was created with negative stereotypes of people and therefore generate negative expectations. So very few people understand the shifting power of their thoughts upon the world, as well as the influence of those thoughts upon others around them. This is because we have a lot of negative visualizations, constantly imagining, or should I say, imaging the worst outcomes due to past experiences. So,
Right.
so praise and positive reinforcement can help uplift the spirit of both children and adults, as opposed to feeling that they are chastised every time they make a mistake or someone in their group does something that is wrong by their social standards, and every member of each group is denigrated because of it. So
The Khepra freeze up. Where am I? Okay. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, hold on. Okay, yeah, he froze up. Okay, yeah, he froze up. Okay, so I see that. Gratitude. So he will come back. Now, what I'm going to do, because he has been here before, which I announced earlier, and I'm going to share part of his presentation from that time, because I know he will be here speaking on sound. And this presentation has already broadcast, so if you like to see it in its fullness, then you can review the video. I'm pretty sure this video link is in the description. So he came on before, and he had the Khepra Ptah Presents. And right now, what I'm going to do is share one moment I received from this presentation he was on previously that stays with me, and that I have used in my home, and I've shared on this platform a few times. So in his presentation, Khepra Sounds Manifest was the name of it. Sounds Manifest. And he spoke on how the vibrations and sounds affects and shapes things. And he's back. He's here. And he also spoke about, I'm sharing a story from the last presentation you were on till you came back. And oh, actually, here you go. Yeah. So I was sharing that, and I'm gonna do a snapshot, and then if you would do all the correcting, because right now I'm about to ad lib. I'm about
okay.
No. And since you're here, I'd like you to present the clarity and then continue, if you would, where you were at. So you spoke about how water, like if you live in an apartment building and the water has to go through each floor of the apartment. So as it passes through the pipes and the walls, and the people on the first floor are fighting, the water is taking on that frequency of that argument, the vibrations there. And it continues and picks up all the vibrations and frequencies until it gets to your to your apartment where you're using the water. And I don't remember, you're going to clear me up, but this is what I do if I didn't do it before. I actually, since then, I use my copper water bottle, but my granddaughter, she likes to drink from the tap for some reason. So what I'll do is I'll get a glass pitcher, and I'll put the tap in it, and I'll sit it to the side in my kitchen for a few days before I know she's coming. And it gives the water time for those vibrations that's picked up to go away, and the vibrations in my kitchen purifies the water, so to speak, so it becomes drinkable. And so then when you drink the water, you're not drinking all those negative vibrations that came up through the pipes that the water collected along the way. Okay.
Correct.
Now that was my rendition. Can you clarify all that and share with everyone the way you presented it?
Well, this is correct because water holds memory, you see. And remember,
Okay.
we are composed mostly of water. So a lot of times when you're drinking water and you've been arguing around water, what it is that you will start to take on the energies of all that which is around you. If you're drinking water that you take and you pray into, one of the things that my elder has shown me was a method, right? When you call upon Tahuti, you say, and you make this sign over it. You say, Ab Hasem Amin Ra Jehuti Munecher. And what you're doing is you're calling upon Jehuti and you're calling upon the energies of the water to be purified. Af Hasem Amin Ra Jehuti Munecher. So you're basically saying, may this water be purified in the name of Tahuti. The waters of Tahuti is purified. The waters of the divine. You're purifying this water with an intent. But you can speak into the water and purify the water. You can pray into the water. You can also take this water that you pray into and you can sprinkle it around your house and raise the vibration of the water. You see? A lot of times when you're chanting, this energy is being infused into your auric field, but it's also being infused into your body because the waters in your body is remembering these things. So I don't know, something happened. I think I started dropping bombs. We started talking and dropping bombs. I had to stop because my system crashed because it heated up. That's how much
Oh, it's
fire we're
gonna heat
coming in
up.
with tonight. You
It
know?
heat up every time you come on here, Khepra. Every time.
Mm,
But I got
no
backup.
doubt.
I got your presentation from last time. So if it happens, I'll fill in till you get back. No worries.
No doubt. No doubt. See, the queen be having the brothers back. I like that.
Gratitude. Gratitude.
So, so when speaking of that, speaking into the waters, in Kemet they talked about how waters deal with memory. There's a type of water they call the cyanunk, and they also call this water the place of purification, the waters of life. There's some say is that the Great Pyramid was used to purify water. So when we're looking at all of this, we see that water plays a very important role in our life, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, water not only holds memory, your body, being made of water, also holds
Mm-hmm.
memory.
That's right.
See? So part of our liberation will come from us telling ourselves a new story to create new memories.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the interesting thing about it is that the Hebrew word for water, the Hebrew letter for water is called mem, right?
Mm.
Okay? So you're definitely connecting with the waters of life through your memory. You see, when you
Yes.
take a bath and when you're putting leaves and you're putting certain things in the water is extracting the essence of these plants and leaves. So when you're taking spiritual baths, you can literally clean off your aura. And it's good. You can
Okay.
just do this, gather plants and flowers from around you, and eventually break them up, tear them up, pray, mix them up, put a little honey in there and other things that you consider a high vibration and sit in the bathtub and bathe in this water in which you have torn the leaves up, you've done incantations and prayers of your liking, and you're raising the vibration and the intent. So when you take a bath and you're using plants from around the area in which you're living in, this is when you attune yourself to the earth and the frequencies of where you're actually living. This is when you become one with nature. So we had times when we visualized things, but we actually got down and dirty because we connected with the earth itself. So going back, talking about how our liberation will come to us. What's going to also help us if we change the story that's constantly
Right.
being played, not only within us, but within the cosmic waters in which we call the ethers. Because we're
Mm-hmm.
also on autopilot, we
Mm-hmm.
continue to play out the same negative stories. Our
Yes.
people can't unify. Our people this, our people
Yes.
that. We got the most heart attacks. We got the worst in nutrition. And we listen to the media and everything else, and we take this in and we believe it, and we create more of it. So earlier I spoke about the commission deity Heteru, who is linked to the faculty of both pleasure and imagination. Why? Because when you're tapping into the power of the imagination and you can invoke a feeling, right? They're saying this is how you make your prayers manifest. So it's cool to spit knowledge, right? And throw around some facts. And many of us probably got thousands of factoids just floating around between our neurons. right? But here's what the bad guys worry about. They worry more so when we tap into our imagination because they know that the imagination will set you free. Now, one of Het Haru's sound vibrations that's connected to her, if you study Shechem or Shechem's work, it talks about cling and cleam, right? A lot of times people will chant this if they're trying to get a new love into their life. You could chant and write down clean or cling 108 times because you're bringing it from heaven to earth. So for those who are looking for a new love or a mate or something, go ahead and chant the clean mantra from time to time. But something else it does, it connects you with that creative aspect of the imagination and helps you feel good so that you can bring the things into manifestation that you're looking to create. So it's the imagination that they're trying to keep a lock on. You see what I mean? The Caucasianization of the imagination. You got to release yourself from these bonds of your imagination so you can tap
Okay,
into
hold
that
on.
creative part of yourself.
Hold on. You said the Caucasian what? Say that one more time. I need you to probably say that twice. Say that again for me.
The Caucasianization of the imagination. Being enslaved and imprisoned
That's
by
right.
Western education. To get out of that, we got to change our situation when we tap into our heart center and raise our vibration. Freestyle.
Hold on, Steve. Khepra Ptah. I didn't know you had you got a record. You got some music. I didn't know that side of you. You a lyricist, huh?
I got a few things.
You
I
got a
got a
few
couple.
bars.
Got a couple jewels to drop in the form of some poetry. But yes, that's a creative faculty. We got to tap into that creativity. That is the part in which they don't want you to tap into. You see, they don't mind when we're constantly kicking and dropping knowledge and whatnot. It's the imagination that they're trying to quell. Because once you tap into that imagination, you become a creative force. You become godlike on another level because you happen to create and transform your situation. Khepra, you're bringing something new into being. You see, you're tapping into the noon and you're pulling it out of the invisible realm and bringing it into the visible realm, which is why it's good for you to write things down, why writing was considered magic. In fact, it took almost being in a priesthood, of which is up to itself, to be a scribe in ancient Kemet, because writing is considered magical. Write down your thoughts and ideas. Write them down more than once. Repeat them 100 times at least, or 108 times. And watch things begin to manifest because you're bringing your thoughts from heaven to earth. And you got to feel that these things are already happening. Het Haru is linked to feeling. A lot of people do not understand the power of feeling and bringing things into existence. So the creativity faculty is awakened in the minds of the people. Once that happens, then they are on the road to freedom. For those who understand the Lukumi teachings, regular Diocha, and those who are into the Orishas, um, there's a center here. They call that Eleda. That is also one of the names of God. They call Olodumare. That's the attributes. It means the creator. Why is it here? Right? Now, it's here for a few different reasons because you also feed the head in this tradition to help enhance your cognitivity as well as your creativity, you see. So if you can see it, you can create it. Now, a lot of times when you're on that road to creativity, you make discoveries, all right, on the way to creativity, which is important. That's why they don't really encourage you to be creative because once you make discoveries, this is when you awaken that divine part of yourself. You're awakening and tapping into that inner genius. So they're not teaching children to be creative because they're trying to get these children to grow up and be workers and laborers, you see. When we tap into the creative aspect of ourselves, we gain a sense of liberation, and there's happiness and an inner peace. When this sense of freedom is expressed, it causes your whole body to glow. Your being begins to move to a different vibration. And the reason why it is because the energy within our bodies is flowing free without internal resistance. Not to say that there's a lack of friction, but there's a lack of internal resistance in the form of blockages. It cannot be stressed enough that the thoughts that we continue to play over and over in our minds are layered upon other thoughts that we play in the background of those very thoughts. You see? Do you take those thoughts? Next time you drink a glass of water, go ahead and put some happy thoughts into your cup of water and drink it on down. Put some good thoughts into the atmosphere around you. Put some good thoughts into your bathtub next time you're drawing a bathtub full of water. Put a little honeysuckle, right? And put something that's going to bring forth that magnetism, awaken the creativity, and activate sweetness in your life. The Yorubas call this Oshun, and they say that's the missing ingredient that Olodumare had to eventually tap into. Energy. The G is for genius. I like that. Real talk. So you tap into that creativity. You tap into that sweetness because you see, you tap into desire. They talk to like desire is a bad thing, but not if you understand how to conduct the desire because you have a desire, right? That has been killed in you by society. And this is why you want to reactivate the desire to motivate you to go to where you're supposed to go. You see? Yes. So it's a beautiful thing. If I see where someone that mentioned as far as hugging a tree. It's a beautiful thing to hug a tree because trees have an auric field that resonates with the earth. You can actually literally heal your internal organs if you know which tree to hug and which tree to connect with. They teach you that in various forms of qigong and so forth. You see, so take some water, pray into the water, sprinkle the water. That's what they call libations. You don't just have to do libations when you're calling on your ancestors. You can just take a glass of water, you can chant into the water, you can pray into the water, you can sprinkle the water anywhere, and you literally have dropped your prayers into the ground or wherever you want to reside. You see. So it's good. If you feel like you need some sweetness in your life, like it was said just now, go by a river, you know, take some flowers to Oshun or Het Haru and so forth. But connect with that sweetness. Heal. People heal by the river. The river also is symbolic of your blood vessels. So heal. You heal when you connect with that sweet part of yourself and give yourself the desire to continue to live, create, and express. So the words we think and utter are aspects of mind, giving meaning to and making sense out of situations, ideas, surroundings, and so forth, which we find ourselves in, right? Commissions, we call this heka, right? The ability to use the word heka and tir nature, divine energy, and ofuashe by the Yoruba, which is speech power. The Commissions also understood that we have the ability to command the outcome of events with every word we utter. It is through the utterances of self empowerment, coupled with the right feeling behind them, which shall empower us. So, the way the controllers play the game is that they play one against the other. They praise one group, they devalue one, and they prop another up, right? Because they keep you divided. If they can keep you fighting, keep you distracted, they can keep you from focusing on yourself and on your family and those in whom you love because you're so busy being scared because they put the fear in you. You looked at this in movies, you see one group being praised, one begin to rise in progress, and the group that's being devalued is the one that starts to decline. I don't know if for those who have seen White Doll, Black Doll, and they had the little black children who kept on picking up the white doll and saying that they thought the black doll was ugly. How did they start thinking like this? So this just shows you that it started in early age. You see what I mean? If the black children feel devalued, then of course they're going to value others over themselves. So this is why you got to start it at an early age, teaching them
Yes,
how to say words of power and how to get them started chanting before the
that's
age of
correct.
7. Teach
That's
them how
correct.
to chant sacred sound vibrations and take them out in nature. You see? So when we're talking about how you overcome that sense of devaluement or being devalued, you have to transform your inner being. You see what I mean? Because a lot of times we want to just use the intellect to do it, but it's beyond the intellect. You got to get it into your subconscious, or like Shechem said, impress it upon your life force. When you're watching movies all together and all they got all these weird movies with the same story, bunch of CGI, but they're saying the same thing over and over again. What's up with the repeating? They're trying to get you to believe and manifest something. They have an agenda. So if you're seeing all the stories are boring, all the movies are boring because they're saying the same thing, it's hypnotism. When you hypnotize something or hypnotize somebody, you say the same thing over and over and over again, and before the mind so that the conscious mind retreats and the subconscious takes it in and you start to believe it. You see, the same reason why they play the same type of music over and over again. And even though you hate the music, you find yourself singing the same songs that you say you hate because now it's being programmed into you, you see. Okay?
That's right, and that is called rote, ROTE. And we're gonna be speaking about that June in 2 days on my broadcast. I'll be here with Mother Matriarch Salima Ellis, and she's gonna be speaking on that and those repetition songs and those things we sing and repeat, and we don't realize what we're singing. We're gonna be talking on that and some of these other things you're talking about as well.
Right. Okay. Okay. See, that's a beautiful thing. More and more and more people are waking up to this. You see, pretty soon our babies are going to know this and they're going to be teaching us.
Yes.
As,
and if anyone interested, it's called Black and White Are Not Colors. So look on my page for that broadcast coming up in 2 days. And here goes my information on Facebook and my YouTube. That broadcast is called Black and White Are Not Colors. We'll be speaking on some of that. Continue, please. Apologies.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Thank you, Queen. So, yes. So, we got to keep in mind thoughts and emotions generate brain waves and heart waves that affect everything and everyone in close proximity to our environment. So, for those that are familiar with the Kybalion, it talks about mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. The first one it talks about is mentalism, where it says the all is mind and the universe is mental. So the way we observe the universe is how we shape and create. So when we talk about the universal mind, we're going beyond the intellect. A lot of times we find a situation playing throughout our lives on repeat, and this is directly linked to our core beliefs. And to get to the core beliefs, we have to strip away the layers and layers of ideas that cover up those core beliefs. So when we're going to meditation, you can go and you can utilize the Om meditation or Amen meditation and get you into the trance state and take yourself back into those areas. You see what I mean? Of your life. So if we're in pain because we fail to take care of ourselves, of course, it's going to affect our outlook, or we find ourselves in negative situations that led to us being in pain because we have experienced certain things that we remember as pleasurable or painful. You see, the core beliefs are the stories that we play over and over and over in the back of our minds. This process takes part in shaping our perception and therefore our reality. The power-hungry control freaks continue to show us pictures on TVs and movies, as well as program people with mental images that shape our perception through entertainment. The problem is that many of these things are only illusory and ego-based, you see. So when it's transient, we understand that it's only temporary. But because we grow attached to these things, we view these transient things as ways to complete ourselves. We try to complete ourselves with transient things. A lot of times people don't go anywhere in life because they're too attached to old things and things that kept us in a situation where we were stagnant. Hence, leading more to unhappiness and suffering. Also, sickness, disease, and death. So it is recognized that humans have an ego, but the social orders of our day seem to be constructed from the platform of ego. And we have always had these ways of making others conform to our will, of course, right? According to how the system wants to shape people by getting people to police each other into silence and going along with the very things that are not good for them. See? So another thing, we talked about shame and guilt a little bit earlier. It's a mistake when it's used as a method to better the individual, okay? Because there has to be an inner transformation. Why? Because to use shame and guilt as a disciplinary action is not good enough. The ego will simply retreat from the surface and resurface after, even stronger than before its wounds have healed, okay? So it'll come back with a vengeance. So when we use shame and guilt to mold the individual, we might cause the person to want to change at first. We're talking about our children. We're talking about people who we would like to teach and so forth, or those who have been the same to us. When an individual will often turn on the one who shamed them or completely become resistant. We ourselves are also becoming resistant to the shame and guilt in which they have utilized to control us. You see what I mean? That's why a lot of us have become shameless because we have been shamed so much. You see what I mean? So when people talk about, well, how can a sister like Cardi B come or Meg the Stallion, Cardi B, how could they talk about WAP and so forth? Well, first of all, if you're shamed all the time, you get resistant to the shaming, and then you start wearing it as a badge of honor. You see, shaming is not the way to cultivate the spirit in anyone. It doesn't work. Okay. Now there's an honor system. There's the idea of wanting to be honored. You see, but there's a difference when you're functioning from a place of honor and from a place of just shame and guilt. So shame and guilt will cause your auric field to contract. The goal is for us to expand. So, through the practice of meditation and the breathing exercises, and mainly I'm talking about the ones I taught the Om, Ong, and Amun, you change your nerve force. You switch on the power glands of your endocrine system. You enhance your auric field. And this creates a field of protection and abundance around us. So the colors shown in the aura is linked to the power of the emotion or the energy in motion, as someone mentioned earlier. So your spiritual oppressor wants you to act like a mechanical being. And this is why they continue to teach you to live in a mechanical universe that is random and where nature lacks intent. The mechanistic model of the universe is a way to justify removing the unique expression of the individual and relegate us to live in the idea of an entropic universe. What do I mean, entropic universe? They talk about entropy being everywhere. They believe that the universe is running down and burning out because they're coming from a place of lack. But if you accept the holographic model, it is the awareness that each part contains a whole, like mentioned earlier. Not that the universe is running out of gas and eventually disappears, but it is continually expanding and contracting. So the controllers believe in lack, or at least they push the idea of lack. And this fear has been the root cause of wars and plundering. And when we shine, not only do we attract people who are willing to work with us, we also attract our mate. We attract spiritual powers that guide and protect us. And there's more. There's also the need to connect with nature. And it is with the connection we tune into the earth. We tune into what is known as the Schumann resonance, where we take the energies in the atmosphere and charge up our energetic bodies and become illuminated beings. So for those who are interested in that, look into the science of Qigong. Thus, Qigong, pranic meditation, and so forth. This is how you begin to activate that energy, your prana, your chi, your shekam, and so forth. You become an energetic being because you have energized those parts of you. You do not let people steal your energy. Okay? So I want to talk a little bit more about sounds. Okay?
Please do.
All right. That's the juicy part, right? So we look at the sound Ra, right? It's the sound of the solar plexus. Ra is the light and heat necessary for life to exist. So when we breathe, heat is produced due to the friction in our bodies. Life is produced because movement generates friction. We are living images of the universe itself, you see. And just as the universe breathes in and out, we too breathe in and out. Even the breath has to do with timing. So one of the things that Baba Hari Khafra taught me was the triple hesi, Anecharak Amin Ra, Nukta Amin Ra, Anuk Amin Ra. When you say Anecharak Amin Ra, it means show me your face, Amin Ra. Nukta Amin Ra, I'm the power of Amin Ra. Anuk Amin Ra, I am Amin Ra. You see, the triple hesi Amin Ra, it activates the awareness and the power of the will along with this hesi to Amin Ra. We also greet his family, Mut and Kanzu. The same formula is utilized. Amin Ra and his family are all acknowledged. So you greet his family. See, Anecharak Amin Ra, Nutatir Amin Ra, Nuk Amin Ra, Anecharak Mut, Nutatir Nut, Anuk Mut, Anecharak Kanzu, Nutatir Kanzu, Anuk Kanzu. Therefore, you're dealing with the divine and the sacred feminine and the holy child. They're all acknowledged. And you have used the triangulation and have awakened the cosmic forces and adding positive and the negative and the neutral. You acknowledge all three. That's the true Trinity that they mutated into Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, right? Man, woman, child, right? So positive, negative, neutral. These are the things that hold the universe together itself. So when you say a necharak, mut, show me your face, mut. Nutatirit mut, I'm the power mut, I am mut. So you identify, first you pay homage to the spiritual force, and then you identify with the spiritual force, and then you see your oneness with the spiritual force as the spiritual force. So each and every one of us are vehicles of the Supreme Being. The Supreme Being creates vehicles to dwell in and experience life through creation. And we are that. We're here to give the creator creation and experience.
Yes,
See,
yes,
this is why each and every one of us have a different mark on the calendar, or a different one of us have a different Odu and Ifa, because you are here to give existence your own unique form of existing. Another good sound to tone, by the way, with the triple Hesse is shu. The very sound shu is also good in eliminating illness. So in Chinese medicine, it's the same sound sacred to the liver and the gallbladder, shu, right? So in the beginning, it says that Ra, he spat out shu. No, he spat out tefnut and he sneezed out shu, right? In Chinese medicine, it's good for the gallbladder, but it also helps to get anger to come up and out of the system, which can lead to problems with your liver and other diseases that causes the body to degenerate. This includes cancer. Also, many times people who carry anger in their system may not even know it, but it also leads to accidents. So Shu is the light that stands upon Seb and holds up Nut. Shu is the light, right? So you got the days of the birth of the earth, you have the netures, you have the days of celebration and so forth. We'll talk about that because there's also organs. You know, I'm going to do a different presentation when I'm talking about the organs and so forth, because they also each have their own sound vibrations. Then you have Ptah, Sekhmet, Nefertum, right? And one of the ways we would chant that is Ptah, Sekhmet, Nefertum, Ptah, Sekhmet, Nefertum, Ptah, Sekhmet, Nefertum, Ptah, Sekhmet, Nefertum. And but for those who are really paying attention, the word Ptah is said to be the opener. Ptah also survives in the Arabic and in Islam as Al Fatah, which is one of Allah's 99 attributes. So when you call upon Al Fatiha in Islamic prayer, you're literally connecting with the energies of Ptah. You see, nothing ever dies, it only takes different forms. It just transforms and re expresses itself in different ways. So, Ptah, the opener, aka the strong force in the shaper of cosmos, the cosmos and the universal blacksmith, it said that Ptah laid out the foundations of heaven with an iron slab. Sekhmet, the cosmic fire and power, the netur that can both cause and take away sickness. Nefertum, the perfect and complete one. Ptah, Sekhmet, Nefertum. These are the cosmic forces that you're awakening within yourself. By the way, when you work with deities and so forth, you're awakening their qualities within yourself. When you see pictures, people with pictures of celebrities and so forth, that they create what you call a vision board. You're trying to pull these things towards you, right? Or let's say you put your face on top of a guy with a buff body. What you're trying to do is you're trying to awaken a quality within yourself by getting your so-called subconscious mind to identify with where it is that you're trying to go by seeing yourself as that. So Amun Rahum has financial wealth and abundance. So you chant this Hesi 108 times in the morning and 108 times before retiring. Amun is the hidden, Ra is the light, Hu within whom is authoritative utterance. And this is the Heka that opens us up for financial abundance, wealth, and opportunity. Anech or Unk Ucha Seneb. This is actually one of the names of Ra. For those that have studied in the Kemetic literature, how when As had him bit by the asp and he began to tell her the different names, one of the names he says is, I am the prince, Unk Ucha Seneb, right? Unk Ucha Seneb. In the Sa is also the sound alternative ren of Ma'at, Hapi Asar. It helps with depression. In Ready Komet, the sound S is good for the lungs. Depression also hides in the lungs. So the lungs are sacred to Hapi, right? You want to get rid of oppression or depression. Visualize the color white on your lungs and go, which is Sa, you see. So Uncle Chanel is life, strength, and health. You can chant Ankh Ucha Seneb, Ankh Ucha Seneb, Ankh Ucha Seneb, Ankh Ucha Seneb. But you have to call upon the positive affirmations and tap into those primordial sounds, because every language in which you tap into, you will discover that there's a different quality of resonance. For those who, let's say, for those who into an ATR, like for instance the Fa tradition, you may do your prayers in English, but you'll notice that if you do it in the Yoruba, you will understand that that language is very tonal, and you will discover that there's a resonance that it awakens within your being. Okay, and also it has its own primordial sound because it sounds just like the drum. So for purification, the Hesi is Hu Ra Nebertesha Ra Hu. You chant this Hesi on a dry fast from sun up to sundown. Hu Ra Nebertesha Ra Hu. Hu Ra Nebertesha Ra Hu. Hu Ra Nebertesha Ra Hu. Okay? So, of course, there's also the sounds of the chakras. Now, a lot of people may ask, well, why do we want to tap into the sounds of the chakras? Because that's an Indian system. And I'll tell people because those sounds are primordial. So, even in India, we had the ancestors go and connect with the people there and brought that knowledge there. And you discover that they had the same type of information and different methods of how to awaken the cosmic forces through chanting throughout the African continent and in indigenous peoples all over the world. Okay, so this is a universal principle we're talking about. So, Lam, Lam, sound of the root chakra. It helps to ground and center us. That's the way we handle what is necessary to survive. Now, a lot of people talk about there's color schemes in the chakras, and I'm just going to tell you that those colors are new. They was not using the rainbow colors in ancient Indian tradition or in Ayurvedic tradition until recently. You see, after they started connecting with the Tibetan, they kind of fused Tibetan knowledge together, and they also ended up getting connected with the Tibetan system and a little bit of the New Age system. That's how they developed what was called the rainbow body meditation. That's how you get the rainbow colors with the chakras. But anyway, moving on. Sorry. Vam deals with the reproductive power as well as the ability to be creative in the world. Ram or Ra, Ram. This mantra is used to remove fears, doubts, and anxiety from the individual, and it's directly linked to the power of the will. It is also good for calling down healing lights into a room to charge up the area. Yam. In fact, the way it goes is Lam, Bam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Om. So Ram, we talked about Ram. Next is Yam. It's connected to the heart. It is important to activate this center because it helps us to express ourselves as well as connect with others. Ham. This mantra is great for warding off black magic or negative magic and so forth when people try to throw curses at you and or just have negative thoughts in which they throw at you. You see what I mean? So not to get mixed up with melanated magic. We're talking about the idea that people sometimes throw negative thoughts because they may be hate. They may throw the evil eye at you and send negative thought force or thought forms towards you. Let's say you get a new car and all of a sudden your car broke down because you had some haters around you. You'll be surprised on how energy can infect or affect the atmosphere and the environment. Okay? So, anyway, this mantra also increases the power of the mind and is great for helping with the raising of the Kundalini. Kasham. Kasham is the mantra for the first eye that opens the way so that the higher and lower self can receive the energy from the universe. So we're going to get into what we call the prime mantras. The prime mantras, the mantra that activates cosmic awareness. We talked about Om a little bit earlier. It raises the life force energy up the spine. It also helps expand the auric field, making one impervious to negative thought vibrations, which may be released um, during certain times of the day. It's also good as far as the sound of the sacred mother. For those who may have studied, you discovered that it was also a sound for the goddess Tara, the sacred mother, the secret mother, or sacred mother. Yeah, well, she's a secret now, but not for long because that energy is coming up and people can't stop it. So anyway, by the way, when I was in Iraq, I learned that they called a lizard an Solomon, which means in Arabic means mother. So when you say you're connected with Amma, or is also connected to the mother, and it's also hidden in the word Amun and Amun for Amun Ra. Um, not just but See, next is Aim. Aim. This mantra is great for concentration, right thinking, and also it's great for speech. It's good to have developed the intellect. It is a link to the planet Mercury. It connects with the nectar that are messengers and gatekeepers, such as Sebek, Ampu, Apuat. It's also very similar to connecting with deities like Eshu, Legba, Papa Legba, Elegba, and so forth. Brahm, this vibration, Brahm, good for victory. This includes court cases, also for helping with health, and like Shreem, it helps to obtain wealth. Another vibration that you can use is Dham. A Dham is good for also bringing in money. So we had also talked about Ram a little bit earlier. It can be used to bring in the light, is the healing energy in the room. You can call upon Ram if you like to heal. It is also the mantra Heka for the solar plexus, which is the center of the will. Ram also contains the name of the spirit Ra, as we spoke of earlier. So it's definitely a solar mantra, which you find in the solar plexus. Hum. This mantra helps in the warding off of negative energies. So when you're throwing out curses and candle magic, whom have to get rid of that. It also gets rid of negative emotions within the individual. You see, it's contained in the Heka Hu that is also associated with Tahuti, the netter of wisdom. So Hu is the Commission word for authoritative utterance. Gam. Gam. Some people say it looks like it says gam, but it's actually gum, kind of like gum in a way. Gum. This mantra helps to cultivate knowledge. It also helps to strengthen the intellect when it comes to mathematics and scientific information. It is linked to logic and verbal skills. So if you're trying to develop that, it's good to chant mantras like Aim, Gam, or Aim, Gam, Aim, Gam. So you're going to take these and eventually have your own formula, what works for you. Okay, the qualities in which you're trying to develop within yourself. Sham, Sham. This mantra promotes inner peace as well as the alleviation of stress and anxiety due to disturbed emotions. It's also good for chronic degenerative nervous system disorders. Shreem, Shreem. This mantra has been attributed to deities like Ma'at and Ajay Shaluga and so forth. This mantra is linked to beauty, health, and prosperity. It's also connected to the strengthening of plasma and reproductive fluids. Shum, Shum is also hides the word shu, but when it has Shum, this mantra helps with the increase of one's vitality and sexual vigor. It also deals with the creative parts of the mind. It also hides the name of the Neter Shu, which is depicted standing on top of Geb, the earth netter, and holding up his mother Nut, the sky Netert. And I mentioned this one earlier. This is the favorite. Kleem. This mantra is very powerful. Kleem helps with attraction towards a desired partner or makes one desirable to others, and also promotes the ability to utilize the imagination on higher levels. That's why it's connected to Het Haru and Oshun and so forth. Because you see, desire also helps us move forward. But when you find a partner, you guys get together and chant that particular mantra and visualize the things in which you want to see happen. And both pull that towards you. Two heads are better than one. Three heads are better than two, and a whole room full of people chanting and focusing on the same thing that connects to the universal mind or the mastermind, if you sort of would like to put it on that term. Psalm. This is the mantra that strengthens the mind, the heart, and the nerves. It is also good for rejuvenation. It contains the commission word sa for protection. Harim, cleansing and purification. It connects with the netter, herukuti. It also helps you to build confidence. Haum invokes strength, transcendence, and transformation within the individual. Cream and shreem can be used together to energize herbs and medicine. So you say, cream, shreem. And you can go into meditation before you're about to work with your herbs. Or if you're going to take that bath I told you about earlier and tearing up the leaves while chanting cream and shreem. This will help you infuse the intent of bringing out the medicine within the herbs. Okay, so that's about it as far as the sounds for now. But there's more coming. I want to go into detail because there's other ways in which we can utilize these particular sounds. And when people want to utilize sounds, you can also write them down 108 times. This is something that I've learned through my studies because it helps things manifest. If you're looking for a partner, then go ahead and write clean down 108 times. Remember, I'm talking about bringing heaven to earth. You see what I mean? On earth, as it is in heaven, as above, so below, as within, so without. You see? So when we tap into this energy, we're going to also make sure that we are focused. You see what I mean? And you might do well to just utilize one at a time, as you know, when you're first starting out, to get the results in which you're looking for. Okay? So with that being said, if anybody have any interjections, anything that they would like to share with a brother, or any questions, feel free.
Yes. A while ago, you were speaking on the Om, and Tiffany Smith said Om is the first one or last.
You can start out with Om, and you can also end with Om. You see? So a lot of times when they do certain mantras, they'll start and end with Om. They'll open and close with Om because it's kind of the glue, right? In Eastern tradition, Om is seen as the glue of all mantras. They consider that to be the main one, you see. They also use this particular mantra for liberation or liberation of the spirit before one goes silent. You see what I mean? After you chant Om 108 times, then you go silent. You sit in the silence. Okay? So it can be initial and it can also be at the end of your intention.
Gratitude. And can you speak on Tiffany Simpson commenting about feeling the vibration all through your body when you were speaking on the sounds and also the Hesses?
A lot of times the Hesi and the sounds, they will invoke a vibration. Okay? They will also invoke a feeling. But you'd want to do this to feel the resonance. So the more you do it out loud at first. And then you go into silence. And then what you'll do is that you're going to eventually manifest the things in which you're looking at. You're going to visualize the things that you're looking at coming into being and seeing yourself as having them. But yes, you will feel the vibration going through your body, especially if you try to work an intent, because you see, it is the feeling. Now, if you chant Om long enough, you're going to feel this resonance start here, and eventually you're going to feel the resonance go down into your whole body. Okay? Every vibration or every chant you do is going to create a resonance within you, because you see, you're vibrating your jaw, you're vibrating the bones in your skull and everything else. So it starts here and then it starts to move down. And a lot of times, as you feel the resonance of the vibration move down, you might feel heat rise up in your body. Because now, remember, movement generates heat. So it's that heat that you want to feel. Now, as far as the prayer, if you're going to do a simple prayer along with the mantras, right, what you want to do is invoke a good feeling. So you can do this willingly by focusing on all the things that you have gone through that were positive in your life, or you can meditate on your best song or the most relaxing music, you see, or certain colors. And we're going to get in colors later on. But start with attempting to feel good. If you are driving in a car, or if you don't have your car yet, imagine driving in the car. Imagine you having that.
Okay, see, Khepra, we can't hear you. We lost you about 30 seconds ago. I had to check the sound, make sure it wasn't me.
All right. Can you
There
hear me
you go.
now?
Back, yep.
All right. So a lot of times when you're eating chocolate, right, or whatever, some type of sweets, you will eventually feel that resonance when you think about the taste of chocolate. You're invoking sweetness. You see what I mean? Even though you're not eating the chocolate, if you pretend to be eating chocolate or you imagine the taste of chocolate, you're invoking the feeling of good and pleasurable feelings in your body. You see what I mean? Because your subconscious cannot tell the difference between what you're actually doing and the things that you're seeing with your mind's eye. So if you're constantly thinking about things all the time that are negative, you're basically reliving those things literally. You see what I'm saying? So it's good to understand the concept of being able to see what it is that you want. That's why we talked about Eleda, being a creator, you see. Because when you're tapping into that concept of creation, you have to see what it is that you want. So when you're doing a hesi or a mantra, you're imagining the things that you want to see as the outcome, and you're seeing yourself as having them already. Not as something that you wish you had because you're telling yourself that you don't have them, and therefore you will push these things away. So the word Om, you have Om, you also have Aum and Ama. These are also sounds representing the sun. And earlier I talked about it representing the Great Mother. So vibrating these particular sounds, you'll be able to fill up the holes when you're constantly doing this heka, the holes that are in your aura. Sometimes you'll get holes in your aura if you're drinking too much coffee. Some people can't drink coffee because they'll put a hole in their auric field. So if you do this long enough, you go into a menta or you go into trance. That's the hidden land where you experience the first time, which we call Zep Tepi, where you must release yourself, seek out yourself, and experience the phenomena of being. This is how you do it. So the aspects of us that is immortal is permanent, meaning it cannot be conditioned. So we must understand that our universe and its properties consist of solids, liquids, and gases, and that is light slowed down and shaped by sound. So like light, sound can be measured by distance. In order for sound to travel, there needs to be a medium, such as air or water. So sound cannot travel in a vacuum. It must travel through something. And sound is produced by vibration. So when these vibrations hit the eardrum, the vibrations go to the middle of the ear, which contains tiny bones called ossicles, and through which these vibrations reach the inner ear. The inner ear looks like a small snail shell that contains tiny hairs that converts the vibration into electrical signals in which the brain translates as sounds. And these sounds affects how you feel and how you think. We can change our personality via sound. Hence, persona meaning mask. It breaks down to mean through sound. For those who are familiar with the African ceremonies, where they may call upon a certain spiritual force, like an Orisha, you will notice it is done only with not only with singing, but also with dancing and the sounds and the tones of the drum, as well as the feeling that you get with dancing for that particular Orisha. You're literally calling upon and invoking that frequency to take place and activate through your body or through you, you see. So the constant planes of the drum, it puts the individuals into a receptive state of trance, where this person will go through a trance possession in which they said to be mounted by that particular Orisha. So sounds and vibrations that produce it send signals into the universe itself. So we are constantly picking up on these sounds. These sounds are being influenced or influencing each and every one of us. So when rock came into existence, a sound was produced in the form of waves. These waves and vibrations have been shaping our universe ever since. Okay? When you want to tap into that purity of that unconditioned part of you, this is when you chant Om, because you're connecting with the part of you that is not conditioned. We have been conditioned, and this is why we experience limitation. You tap into Om, you're connecting with not only the solar energies, but also the earth energies and the universe itself. You see, and you're expanding your aura. And if you do it long enough, people will begin to feel your energy. When you walk into a room, they will automatically look back at you because they sense and feel your energy. That's how it works.
That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. I've experienced that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
People sense your presence. People sense my presence when I walk in a room. And I can feel, sense that they felt me walk in the room. It's a little awkward sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And right quick, peace to the universal humanitarian himself, L. Moore from Facebook. He's speaking. I know he spoke peace somewhere to the family. That's what he does. And yes, I've been busy today. El Moore, right quick message. I will be contacting you tomorrow about a broadcast that we're going to be working on with Ramutep Webb that we already talked about. So I'll be in touch. Gratitude for the space, Khepra.
No problem.
Oh, right quick, Khepra. Right
Uh-huh.
quick, since I'm sharing messages, I wanted to share this with you. Let me find it. Tiffany Simpson. She said, listen, I've been battling so many low-level humans. I asked my ancestors to send me a sign and calm my spirit. And my great brother, you have managed to raise my vibration to a very high level. I feel like I'm floating on air.
Give thanks and praise. Thank you for your feedback, Sister Tiffany. I appreciate that. And that's what we're here to do, because we're all alchemists. We're here to raise love vibration. We lift up others. We lift ourselves, and
Yes.
we are able to lift others. And that's what it's all about. To
Yes.
talk about the Midas touch or the philosopher's stone, you become the philosopher's stone by oscillating on a higher level of vibration. So when people get around you, they feel your presence, you see. And you're also able to get people to feel good. Sometimes they don't even have to talk to you. All they have to do is feel your vibration. Take a tuning fork of the same frequency, hit that tuning fork, and put it next to the other tuning fork. And what will it do? It will cause the other tuning fork to oscillate on the same frequency.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And that's what we do. When we get our vibration to a certain level, all you have to do is be around people or have, now, some people, if they want to continue to dwell in the lower regions of being, if their choice is to be there, then you can't force anybody to do anything. However, you will find that people will be attracted to you. And there's ways in which you might want to actually protect yourself at times too. Because people will get around people with certain auras, they'll sense that energy and instinctually want to feed off of it. Right? So sometimes you're taking some of their stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good for you to take that spiritual bath, from
Yes.
time to time. Clean your aura off with the greens, with the plants, and with the water. As above, so below, as within, so without. So when you drink the water and you take a bath, you're cleaning yourself from the inside and the outside. That's the way the Cometians did it. You see what I mean? So everything you're seeing on the outside is a manifestation of the condition in which you're living internally. You see? So with that being said, my sister, I think it's about time for me to wrap it up,
Yes. I felt it coming. For
No
sure.
problem.
And right now, family, is there a regular time for this program? We don't have a regular time. I would suggest, want to see Khepra Ptah, go to his Facebook page and keep up with him there, follow him there, and the same with his YouTube channel. Subscribe, get the notifications for his channel at Khepra Ptah. And He also, you could contact him by email. And if you, because Khepra, you have private sessions, right? You teach privately.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm
you can
also
contact him by phone as well.
I also do readings, you know, so I also have people discover who their guides are, who their orishas are, the nectaru that are playing within their lives, and everything else. So people contact me for a consultation. I'm a priest in various African traditions as well, and I'm also a Shechem Reiki practitioner. Shechem is the Kemetic form of Reiki. So we could talk about that one of these days. I like to introduce that practice to people.
Yes, and Tiffany Simpson would like to know when you will be back. Now, Tiffany
Ah,
Simpson, I'm going to tell you this, sister. It's been about a year since Khepra was here last time. Now, what I will say is we have been together on other platforms as guests. So if you want to see more of Khepra, you can contact him and through his social media platforms as well. Or you can follow me. And because I post things on my page, we both post different things. So you may catch, one of us may not post broadcast that we're both guests in, but we'll both be there. So if I post something and Khepra will be there, he might not post it, but you'll catch it on my page. So you can follow me as well. And I don't have regular broadcasts right now. I am flexible to the guests that on their time when they come. As with Khepra Ptah, he's busy. He has a full schedule, and he meets with a lot of people. He has a lot of places that he appears at, and he speaks and he teaches. So I am here at his convenience, as well as Siba Ramutef Webb. I am here at his convenience as well, and El Moore. And if anyone else, such as Tiffany Simpson, would like to come on here and be a guest, I am here at your convenience as well. So I don't go to a job. I don't have a 9 to 5. I work for myself. I'm self-employed, and I am my own boss. So I have all day to go live. I have things I do, of course, to be busy productively. And at any time, if anyone would like to go live, I will stop what I'm doing to be able to do that. All of my children are grown, so I don't have, that obligation anymore, that responsibility for little ones in the home. My grandchildren may be around, but that can all be settled. Someone wants to go live. So no, I do not have regular broadcasts. I am here for the community at everyone else's level of convenience in their schedule. And so Quenisha Hudson, just like the frequency in rap music has been heightened to cause anxiety and trigger violent outbursts. She made that comment. And Tiffany
correct.
Simpson was taking notes like she was in high school. LOL, I love it, love it. And following both of y'all. Yes, we come with our notebooks. We come with our notebooks and our pens. I sit here with mine. And
Oh
I was
yeah.
actually taking notes. Even though he's been here before and I shared a small part of his presentation from before, I still took notes this time as well. And to me, as I always say, life is the classroom and there's always an opportunity to learn and or to teach. So I am always ready with my pen and paper when this brother comes to the platform. Even if he calls me on the phone, I have my notebook out.
I'll
Him
keep
right
that in
here.
mind.
Yes, I have it out. And let's see. You're going to call and have to watch again. Got to call me. Okay, yep, call and do that. Yes, I appreciate you, Charbet, for sharing that. I appreciate you for being here and everyone else as well. And as Khepra said, we are going to close out here. Yes, we do. We be with the pens and pencils. We take notes. So yes, Tiffany Simpson, again, we appreciate you being here as well as everyone else. And Siba, Khepra Ptah, if you would, once again, share with us where we can reach you, a little bit about yourself, and give your closings to everyone before we leave today. Gratitude.
Sure thing. I'm a student of the Temple of the White and Gold Lotus. You know, from the ancestor, teaching the ancestor Hedi Khafra. I've also have been initiated into various African systems. This includes Ifa, this includes Orisha, and also a little bit from the Congo traditions as well. What I do is I help people consult who their ancestors are, their deities, their orishas, and I also teach people how to do energy healing work. I'll teach people about the vibrations or the sound vibrations that is good for them and what they can do to activate certain faculties within their being. So if you're interested, go ahead and hit me up at khepra.ptah@gmail.com. That's my Gmail address. I also have a YouTube page of the same name, Khepra Ptah. And I'm also kind of getting filled up on my Facebook. I might have to make a third account pretty soon. um, but nonetheless, you can reach me at Facebook at Khepra Ptah. So if you have any inquiries, you can reach me in those particular forms of communication.
Gratitude for sharing. Again, I appreciate you being here. And once more, I am your hostess, Joy Allen. And this is the Karmic Dynasty platform. And I appreciate you all being here. And until next time, I need you all. I know you all will be in peace, light, and wellness and health. And I'll see you all. Peace. And also, yeah, I share my information. Here's my information: YouTube, Facebook, my email address, and also I pre-schedule most of my shows. So on YouTube, you can see on there the upcoming videos, as well as, well, they're more in sequence. On Facebook, as I post, it kind of knocks down the scheduled presentations. So if you want to know what's coming up and when who will be here, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe there and look at the scheduled presentations. And if you have any suggestions, you'd like to see any specific content on here on Karmic Dynasty, contact me, let me know. Oh, and also I was going to address my sister, Quanisha Hudson. Dua, sister, gratitude, peace, thank you, I appreciate you. You know, I've been working on some raw branding of my platform. I've also been working on my comfort level. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to, the shoulders out today, because y'all know what, I'm going to be at the RA-NB-UR-TCHR-RA. So y'all gonna see the shoulders on the RA-NB-UR-TCHR-RA. So I just decided to go ahead and show them today. I appreciate you being here and your what your feedback was. And actually, my son came down. He was like, "Mom, you look nice today." I was like, "Thank you, son. Go away. I'm on the broadcast." So I appreciate everyone for being here. I appreciate the feedback. Ramatef, Siba, brother, go drink some water. I appreciate you all being here. It's been great. It's wonderful. I enjoyed the energy today, the activeness in the comment section. This was a divine interaction, and it's much appreciated. Hotep, Siba Khepra Ptah, Hotep to all of you. Dua, Dua-u.
Dua, Dua-u, Hotep.